Life Fixers, hope you're having an awesome day. Are you ready to better understand yourself, your partner, and your marriage? Ooh, I'm super excited for today's episode because we've got my supervisor, like the top of the top, the one that really helped me and dig through all the nitty-gritties of the Creative Journal Expressive Arts. So if you are new here, you are first of all going to want to listen to at least the past 10 episodes because you want to make sure you're all caught up and you know exactly what we're talking about here. But especially the 2 episodes with Lisa Brown, episode 43 about using Creative Journal Expressive Arts to improve your marriage with the 5 love languages. That one's fun. And episode 191 where she speaks about her son committing suicide and what that has done for a relationship. So that way you'll have a little bit more background knowledge to what we're talking about here and why I love Marsha and Creative Journal Expressive Arts. So thank you so much, Marsha and Dan, for being here. Let's get this party started. You want to start by telling us how you guys met?
You want to tell me? You started.
Well, we met online, match.com, and I had been divorced for about 5 months and had gotten onto match.com and had tried a couple of dates and hadn't worked out. And Marsha's picture popped up there one day, and we started communicating, and to find out that I was a school teacher and she lived right across the street from where I was teaching school. And so I went out to El Rocio. She owned El Rocio Retreat. And I went out to meet her out there on a Thursday night, which was, she was doing Third Thursdays. That was a little meeting that they would have every third Thursday of each month. And so I went out to meet her out there, and she had another speaker to take over for her. And from there off we went.
How many years ago was this?
Ooh, that would be 19 and a half.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So how was, both of you were married before. So how was this marriage different than your previous marriage?
What?
How is this marriage different than our previous marriages?
Well, we like to do a lot of things together, whereas my other one, it was kind of a separate occasion. Whatever she did, she went, and whatever I did, I went there. And Marsha likes a lot of sports, and that's me as well. So just kind of hit it off.
We like to travel too. We like to travel a lot. So we travel, and we like sports, and we love our families, and we just have fun together.
Yeah. So how has, like, now that traveling, oh my goodness, my favorite thing in the entire world, like now you haven't, I mean, because of COVID, it has been affected a lot, I'm sure. And what has that done for you? Like, you do spend much more time at home, like, meaning not just like the hours in the day, but more like going the months. Like, I know for myself, like I'll go, like, I went 5 months without traveling anywhere, and that like didn't happen for me for quite some years. So yeah.
Yep, very much so. In fact, we've canceled so many United Airline flights. I have all this United Airline credit because we were going to go to Europe twice last year, and that got canceled. One was a Creative Journal Expressive Arts workshop in Denmark, and his father's family is from Denmark. So he was looking forward to going and finding where his family, lived before they came to the United States. That got canceled. Then we had a cruise canceled, 2 cruises canceled. So 3 trips to Europe got canceled. So we've got it on the books to do it next year. And we're hoping that all goes well and that can happen. So
are you always so planned in advance? Like having so many trips booked?
Yes, we do. That's what we like to do together. And we like to go to the sporting events. We have a team here in San Antonio called the San Antonio Spurs.
Basketball
and NBA. And of course, Greg Popovich was the U.S. Olympic coach, and they won gold this last year. So he is the oldest coach ever in the NBA. And this year will be fun because it's the youngest players they've ever had. So, and one of the players said, he said, Pop, I told Pop that my grandparents are younger than he is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? But last week we celebrated my birthday and we went to South Padre Island, and it's down on the border, the Gulf of Mexico, on the border of Mexico and Texas. And we got to see SpaceX. That's Elon Musk, his space center, and a friend of ours, whom we stayed with, took us over there, and we got to just see and experience what SpaceX is all about. So that was really exciting. So that's been our big trip in the last few months. And of course, I went to Lisa Brown's for the Creative Journal in July. You know, we have the outing, but we've stuck pretty much close to home. We did go to recently in June, we went to a lake and took all of our family. We have between us, we have 4 children. He has a son and a daughter, and I have 2 sons. And they're all married, and all of them have children except my oldest son. So we had grandkids and kids, and it was a lot of fun. So,
whole party.
And then next June, we're going to do a cruise, take the whole family out of Galveston on the Liberty of the Seas Royal Caribbean cruise. So,
oh wow, how long is that for?
Yeah, a week's cruise. And we're close to Galveston. It's near Houston, and we're only about 2.5 hours from there, so we can drive. We won't have to fly anywhere. We can just drive and get on the ship.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So what have these, there have been people, let's put it like this, a lot of people on the podcast who spoke about how traveling has done a lot for their marriage. But most of them were much younger couples, and the experiences are obviously really different. They have much less life experience and they view the world in a really different way. So I'm curious to hear from your perspective, what has traveling, besides for spending time together and having fun together, what has actually done for your relationship?
Go ahead, Dan. What benefits have you seen?
I'll just learn to get along better. I mean, you go on a cruise and you're stuck on that boat, nowhere to run unless you dive off. So, so you learn to get along, and we do. We get along real well together.
Yeah. And we are fortunate enough to have some really beautiful friends. A couple that we admire and love very much are the Browns, Lisa and Rich Brown.
Yeah, who has been on here twice, Lisa.
Yeah, so we've traveled often with them. And then we own some places in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So we go there every December, and we celebrate our anniversary, which is December 30th. And this will be our 19th year. And another couple going with us, it's the same date. And we know another couple that also are down there with a place, and it's the same date, December 30th. So it's kind of a fun time to be down there. And then, of course, New Year's Eve, and there's fireworks on the beach, and we sit out and have dinner.
Celebration. The whole world's celebrating for you.
It's all about celebrating. And then January starts, we start all over again.
Oh, so, yeah. Okay, so let's go into this. How you were in CJA, you were involved in CJA before you were married, right? If I'm getting my numbers correctly, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, that's right.
Let me ask you, Dan, what did you think of Creative Journal Expressive Arts?
Well, it's a great program, and
that's what you're saying now. When you met her for the first time, what did you think?
I didn't know anything about it. Knew nothing about it. It took me, probably a year or more to learn something about it. But after we did, great program, and it's helped a lot of people.
Right. And he was there, of course, meeting all the people when he was cooking, and he was running the retreat center while I was teaching with Lucia. So he got really close to, he knows the names like you said, Judy Gutierrez. Well, he also runs the books here, all the finances. So he knows those names just like this. And it's really kept us connected together. And we just had Elva Villarreal and Susie, our little helper, just left last Wednesday, and they helped us put all the supplies together. Remember when you got the backpack and all that? So, we really have a good time with the program, more than just the teaching part, but getting together and having lifelong friends. So
you actually work together. I don't know if it's officially or unofficially how you guys view it, but it's really like you really work besides for just having fun together, having your lives together. You have what a lot of couples don't have, doing work.
Oh yeah, we work together because we go to workshops together and work the workshops together.
Yeah, he's trained, so he goes and he and I teach the workshops, and we go all over the country to teach. So we're business partners, and we're lovers, and we're friends, and we're business partners. So we cover all the bases.
Cover everything. So Dan, do you do anything else, or you're busy with this full time? I mean, at your age and stage, what you do already is a lot, but.
Well, I used to, up until last year, he and I ran a swimming school. I taught swimming, and he did all of the business office work. So that just closed when we moved to San Antonio. And then, of course, COVID, we couldn't teach anymore. So we've been running that. And then I've been teaching online since then. And of course, he's a golfer, and he golfs. And that's how he uses his time. And he was a golf coach. And at one time he was a golf pro. So he is very, very in tune and into golf. So that keeps him busy too.
Do you ever do like CJA activities together? Like just yourselves, like journaling or things like that? Just the two of you?
No. I wouldn't say no. Maybe separately, but not together, unless we're at a workshop or something. Yeah. Then
would you ever think of trying, or like, no, you just do it enough by yourselves that it's not something especially interesting?
Yeah, no. Just it's a one-on-one thing. I don't know that we found the need to do, a couples. It hasn't come up really that we need to do that. And that's what I love about this work. There's no should, have to, demand. It's just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's okay. There's no right or wrong.
My favorite part too, like the no rules part, do what works for you. 100%. Yeah. So what would you say is your biggest challenge in your relationship?
Well, I think right now for me, our health, because I had some back surgery about 6 weeks ago. And so and he's had a few heart issues. So now it's just keeping ourselves fit and going to the exercises and doing that. So I think our challenge right now in this moment is just keeping ourselves healthy so that we can travel and we can have the fun that we love to do.
So what do you do like to make sure that you're being there for each other, even though like in these, like if you just had a back surgery, you are limited in a lot of things and you can't be your regular self and things like that. So how do you make sure that?
Yeah, like he has to help me put on sometimes my socks and my shoes and things like that. And, since I met him, I've cut his hair. So we do a lot of personal care for one another.
Really, really cool. Okay. So what do you think was the one thing you wish you knew before you got married?
Wow. I think we covered it. We dated for 9 months and then we married. We met Thursday, April 19th in 2002. And we were married. He asked me to marry him in Las Vegas in July of 2002. And then he asked me to marry him in Las Vegas. And I'm originally from Los Angeles. And, it's kind of like the runaway bride, just run across the border and get married. And I said, no, I don't want to get married here. I want to go to Cabo. He said, well, where's that? And I said, well, it's in the Baja, California. It's Mexico. I said, oh, okay. All right. So then we already had the timeshare plan, but he didn't know because he'd never been there. He hadn't even been with me in my life for a year. So he was still unfolding how my life, was. And that's when we went down and we got married down there. And we took our whole family, my mom, my dad, my mother's twin, my sister, all 4 of our children, and my personal assistant. So there were 11 of us that went.
Oh, wow. That is
It was very,
fun.
very small, very intimate. It was overlooking Sunset Wedding. Overlooking, if you look behind us, you'll see the arch, that rock right there with a hole in it. And that's the backdrop of where we got married. So literally what you're looking behind, that's where we were married.
You are making me jealous. I think I'm going to copy you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful venue, and I couldn't have been happier. And we had in Mexico, they're very strict. First, you have to have a physical, and so we both had to go get blood work and all that, and then you have to have a judge come, and then we had a minister. So it's a religious and a government. So it's pretty detailed.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. And you stay there for your honeymoon afterwards, or you were like adventurous to go somewhere else?
Oh, no, we were there, right, for the whole week because he was still teaching school. And so he only had a little bit of time off. So we had that, and we had all the children with us. So we did a lot of fun things. We went up to a town called Todos Santos, where there is this hotel called Hotel California. And you may have heard the Eagles song, Hotel California. And so we went up there, and his son is a musician, and he sang the song, and we all sang with him at the hotel. And of course, we went four-wheeling, and we did a lot of activities together, and our kids really love one another. I think that's been one of the gifts, that the kids have fun, and they're all about the same age. They're between the ages now of 43 and 38. So there's just a little block right there. And his daughter's the oldest, and his son is the youngest, and my sons are in between. So yeah.
That is cute. I like that. So what do you think is the secret to really having your kids get along and being able to have so much fun together?
Well, I would say there's been times when maybe his daughter and my daughter-in-law have had a few words, but but all in all, they want the best, and I really believe that our children have had a good upbringing. They've had a good religion and good values. And we're very close to his ex-wife because we're always at functions together, and I invite her here for everything. My late husband, I have no past relationships. No one's alive.
Right.
But ex-wife is, and so we always invite, because it's only important. It's important to role model for our children and our grandchildren how human beings can be. Just because you don't want to live together anymore doesn't mean you can't get along.
Yes, that is so important. So what would you say for someone who's in, let's say, a situation like you, who's married to someone who's been divorced, but doesn't get as long as well as ex, and maybe they even have kids and they have to co-parent together, and it just has challenges? What would you suggest to them?
Well, I think we need, as adults, to role model for our children and be, good citizens to the earth. And to me, we got to overlook whatever happened in the past happened. Let's start fresh and let's move forward. And it means a lot when we can get along. And I have to say that Deanna, his ex-wife, has been very generous to me, said some very wonderful things about how her children really love me. And I really compliment her for that, because I'm not sure a lot of women could tell another new wife, oh, my kids really love you. And that she felt that I'm good. She said, you're really good for my ex-husband. You two have a lot more in common. And so she realizes that we have a good marriage, and she honors that. And I don't think there's any greater gift to have someone speak that to you.
Yeah. You could tell that there's a lot of respect there. How do you see it, Dan, from your perspective?
Yeah, about the same. I kind of agree with what Marsha said, that you just got to be a good role model for the kids, and hopefully that they were brought up. If they're old enough, they were brought up in a good home, and they can follow what they've been shown to do, and become a good citizen.
We can only expect children to have the values that we have, and if you taught them well, and you've instilled them that they're loved and protected and nurtured, I think that's all. And I might say that my children are adopted. I've had them from birth with my first husband. And then he and I got a divorce. And then I married, that was Don Cleghorn. And then I married Michael Gamble, Dr. Gamble, who was an anesthesiologist. And he died in 1997, October 1st, in the Gatwick airport of a heart attack. So I came home and I was a widow for 5 years. And I had dated other individuals, but, and I didn't want to get remarried. It's interesting, when Dan asked me to marry him in Las Vegas, we were at a show at the MGM. Bruce Springsteen and Rick Springsteen, and his song was Jesse's Girl. Anyway, when we went to see him, and and I just felt that it was the right thing to do, because I really cared about him. And I knew that he would be a good partner. And he's a lot like my father. My father was a coach. He's a coach. My father had really great values. He has really high standards, great values. And my father and my mother loved him to death. And in turn, Dan, say what you said about my parents when you met them. You never called your first set of in-laws Mom and Dad.
Yeah. No. Yeah. They were pretty special.
And so they even lived with us right before they died. 6 years ago, they came to Texas from California and stayed with us. Both of them passed. One, my father in her home, and my mother had a stroke, and then she lasted a week longer. But that being said, we all fit in, and my sister adores him, and my brother-in-law. So, it's been and my children love him. So it's been very good.
You could see the way you talk about him. I mean, I know a little bit, and not that you spoke much about him, but a little bit from what you snuck in the stories from the trainings and things. But even just now, as you're talking about Dan and how you're saying everyone loves him and all those stories, you could feel the energy coming from him, what really keeps your marriage alive.
Right.
I love it. I love watching it.
Well, not everybody is as fortunate, but I did the work in Creative Journal Expressive Arts. And I really want to say that, because my first marriage, I was in high school and he was in college, and then he went off to Vietnam and he came back, and, we were married for 16 years, but I didn't realize there's something called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And he was suffering from that. So he would get very violent and physically abusive. And I didn't know anything about that, and we didn't talk about it in those days. And then when I married Dr. Gamble, one thing they both had in common, they both were alcoholics. And I just said, this time, no alcoholics, no smokers. And
no self-sabotaging habits.
Really, but I had standards, and I had gone through Creative Journal Expressive Arts, and I made a list of what I wanted in my next relationship. I wrote it with my non-dominant hand. 18 factors I wanted. I wanted him younger than me, taller than me. I wanted him to be college educated.
So not just most times people say that you should do it more on values and specific things. Here you go, also physical.
Yes, even to the size of his shoe. I said I wanted someone with a 10.5 shoe. I wanted a non-smoker, moderate drinker. I wanted him to wear glasses. I mean, with a non-dominant hand, it's you, as you know, you are certified in the things come out whoa, what's that? But I just folded up the paper and I put it away, and I met him about 6 months later. And in our third date, I asked him, may I show you something that I wrote a little while ago? And he read it, and he looked down the list, and he said, well, yes. Okay. Yes. Oh, no, I don't wear glasses. Well, there's one wrong. I said, well, one, that's pretty good out of 19. He said, oh. Yeah. And my shoe, it's not 10.5. It's a 9. I said, well, 2 is not bad, right? 17 right, 2 wrong. Okay. So then I meet his daughter. She comes out a few weeks later, and she says, hey, Dad, do you still wear contacts? I said, oh, wow. Wrong. So I am telling you, when you get really, really, really clear about what you want in a relationship, the universe said, oh, well, here, we're going to bring it right to you. And came through the computer, and he taught computer skills in the schools. So it worked out that way.
Okay. So people listening to this, if most of you are married. I know, but if you're not going to do this for marriage, if you're not going to do this for anything else you want, you're going to make sure you're going to go and journal with your non-dominant hand and you don't usually use thrive with, and get super clear on what you want. If you have any questions, write them with your dominant hand, thinking about it, but don't think about it with your non-dominant hand and wait to be surprised.
That non-dominant hand never lies. It comes out right hemisphere of the brain, and it's the truth teller.
Yes.
So we're a perfect example. And another thing you could do is a collage, things you want. So this work really lends itself to relationships.
Yeah, we did. We went very deep into this with Lisa Brown, specifically with the collages and things like that, and love languages. That was fun. Okay, so for our final question, one that I ask everyone, how would you describe an extraordinary relationship without using these 3 words? Love, trust, and connection.
Love, trust, and connection. Common values, joint interest, and totally devotion to one's passion. I know some women will say to me, "Oh, your husband golfs? Well, how do you feel about that?" And I said, "I love it that he golfs, because I want him to have an interest in something he loves, because I have passions. And I want somebody to have as many passions as I do."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, about the same. I mean, I think it's great that the couple get along with each other doing separate things at times and be happy with that. Like she said, I love to play golf and she loves to see that. And she likes to go to her workshops with Lisa or wherever. And I love seeing her come home with all her collages and all her little things that she's glued together over there with Lisa, and she explains it all to me when she gets home, and it's kind of fun to see that. So yeah, just
happy together, happy separate. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marsha and Dan. This was fun. It's so good to speak to you again, Marsha, and together with your amazing husband. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. It's been our pleasure. Have a beautiful day.
That's all for this episode of the Life Fix University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.